guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be working on your audition music for Northside next year. And this is an excerpt from your all-region audition music, and I'm going to be playing just the part that you're going to be using for your high school audition. Okay, now everyone is going to play this music for Mr. Hansen, whether you want to be in chamber orchestra or concert orchestra. He wants to hear everyone, so we all need to learn it. Okay, so I'll play it for you first, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. Sorry, I messed up those last two measures a little bit. Let me try that again. All right, there we go. So that's what your music's gonna sound like. So the first thing we need to look at is our key signature. We're in the key of B flat major. So you have the notes B flat and E flat. You can actually play this entire song or this entire excerpt in half position. So that's really good news for you. It means you don't have to shift at all. Okay, so most of the time you're going to be using low ones for B flats and E flats, and then fourth finger for any note you would usually play with second finger. Okay, so if you were going to play C or F, that's going to be with fourth finger now. When you're in half position, just put your second finger on your first tape instead of your first finger. Okay, now the only exception to using first finger and fourth finger is at the end of the first line we have an A natural, and we're going to play that with second finger so that it's going to be right on the tape. So I'm going to start in the last two measures of the first line. Okay, so I think other than that note, we're just using first finger and fourth finger. All right, now if you look at the top, it says Marciale. I actually don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but I do know what it means. It means play it like a march, okay? So you wanna have heavy bows and space between your notes. It doesn't need to be legato. We want a little bit of separation there so that it sounds like a march. Something else you might notice are these funny squiggly lines above some of those quarter notes. That's called a turn. And I actually didn't play it for you when I played through this because honestly, I can't do it very well, and I wanted you to hear what it would sound like with the notes being really clean without messing it up by trying to do the turn. But this is what a turn is. You play the note above it, the note below it, and then you go back to the note, and that all happens really, really fast. It's called an ornament or ornamentation. It's kind of like a trill, but a little bit fancier. Okay, so I'm gonna play an E flat with the turn. So this is measure 2, the last note. I'm gonna play it really slow so you can hear what it sounds like. So start on the note, above the note, under, wait. Okay, so the note, above the note, back to the note, under, and then back. That's a lot, and you do it really fast. Okay? And that's pretty tricky to fit into a quarter note. So if I were you, when I'm practicing, I would play it like I just played it the first time without those turns. And then when you get really comfortable with the notes and the rhythms, you can add those back in. Something else that's kind of tricky is you might have to shift to a different position to play a turn. For example, if I'm playing C with fourth finger, I can't go above that note for the turn, so you might have to play it with second finger instead. And the rule is you stay within the key signature. Okay, so when you're playing your turn, it's not, you're gonna play the notes flat that are supposed to be flat and natural that are supposed to be natural. Okay, so like I said, practice it without that, and then if you feel really comfortable with it, you can add it in later on. So we have some syncopated rhythm here. We have, for example, in measure 2, 1, 2, 4. Okay, so we're moving on beat 2 and then beat 4. Those are not moving on the strong beats, so make sure you catch that. So I'm going to play the beginning again. Listen for the rhythm. Okay, and also notice there's a down bow, so it's going to be down, down. Now on the quarter notes, I'm doing a lift. When it's an 8th note with a down, down, I'm doing it more as like a hook because there's not as much time to do a full bow lift. So if you look like the 3rd measure of the 2nd line, or the 4th measure of the 2nd line. I'm not doing a full lift there because that would be too fast. And you kind of lose control of your bow. So just do down, down, up, down, up. Oops. So that's what I recommend. Do what works for you, but that's what I recommend. And then on the quarter notes, you can do it as an actual lift. Okay. In the 1st measure of the 2nd line, we have a dotted 8th note, 16th note rhythm. Make sure that you keep that, the 16th note at the end really, really short. So I'll play that measure. All right, so those are pretty fast. Back to the turns, I was just thinking about it. It might go so fast that maybe you don't get all of those notes in there, and you can turn it into more of a trill if you need to, like on this D. Okay, so experiment with that a little bit, see what's gonna work for you. All right, then moving on, this is the 2nd line, the 3rd measure. We have a dotted quarter note and an 8th note with a loret marking. That's like a hook, but it has the lines instead of the dots, so your bow is smoother. I'll play that measure. So I did up, up. All right, and you hear in that next measure with the 8th notes, we get a lot of that syncopation there. Okay, and then the next measure is the same, and it kind of follows that same pattern rhythmically to the end. So I'm going to start with measure 3 of line 2 and go to the end. I want you to follow along and focus on the rhythm. Okay, I think I messed up some bowings in there. It's a little bit tricky and I haven't spent very much time practicing this, but I know you will and you'll get those bowings right. Okay, so that is your song to work on for this week. Good luck with it. Start slow, break it down. Don't worry about those fancy turns until you get really comfortable with the notes and the rhythms. Don't forget you stay in half position the whole time and you're mostly using 1st and 4th finger for those notes. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.